Guys, and welcome back to a new Roblox prospecting video. Today I'm going to talk to you on how I got over 100 billion cash in prospecting and how I reached level 30 and what my tricks and tips for everyone playing this game are to get to the same level as I did. So without any further ado, let's get started with the beginner tips. Let's go. Of course, your entire journey starts in Ribble Creek, and this will be your entire beginner area. But what is important here is that you really don't need to worry too much about crafting yet. At this point in the game, like really early on, the only thing you should be focusing on is making cash. Now, if you really want to, there are some things that you can craft that give you a little bit of extra sell value, which is crafting the amethyst pendant for really early on, where you need 2 amethysts and 8 platinum, and getting some golden rings, because those will help you get some increased luck really early on, since they only cost gold, which should be really easy for you to craft. But honestly, after you did get some money, because you basically want to keep enough where you move onto your ruby rings, is where you get at least, I would say, around like it's gonna cost a lot, but like 500k. And I'm saying this because you're gonna need a lot of extra ring slots, because you need to buy those with your meteor shards, and you want to get ruby rings because they give you a size boost. And size boost is one of the most important things in prospecting, because the bigger the ore is, and also depending on the modifier it has, it will give you a higher chance at crafting the certain 5-star accessories that you will equip. And you only in this game really want to craft only 5-star equipment. Just make sure you never craft anything below that. Just make sure you favorite a lot of your ores that are like high weight or like modified items, because you want to keep those throughout basically the entire game from time to time. Either way, early on, just focus on getting enough money and try and go ahead and get to the ruby ring section. Make sure you craft some of these. Make sure you eventually get enough to get a lapis armband, and you can equip that for extra dig speed and the shake speed, and of course the luck. But just for money purposes, really early on in the game, just focus on at least getting the amethyst pendant settled real quick and then getting those ruby rings in action. Now, once you've done that, you should be already far enough in the game where you can leave the Ribble Creek area, leave the Ribble Creek deposits, and I would assume you already, at this point in the game, would have a shovel that's capable of digging at toughness 3. Once you are able to do this, I really want you to start farming at the Fortune River and keep an eye out on the little events that can happen at the Fortune River, which is called the River Rapids. At that point in the game, when that event starts, there will be basically 2 times items drops in the river over here, and at the Fortune River Delta, which is on the other side over here, but you need a toughness 4 shovel for that. But these are the best money ways in the mid-game, if you're at this point, with the accessories that I told you about that you should craft, and get settled on getting yourself really ahead in the mid-game and getting to that late game quite quickly. Either way, you should still farm here regardless of that event being here or not. Just make sure you try and sometimes hop to a server if there are totems there, because I know from what I've seen from public hopping a lot is that a lot of these public servers will have totems down on the ground at this specific spot too, and of course a lot of the oasis, but of course you can't go there yet. But definitely make sure you try and hop some servers and see if there are people here chilling with some totems out. Now, once again, at this point in the game, you will have racked up a lot of cash, and what your next focus is going to be is crafting these Heart of the Oceans. Now, the Heart of the Oceans are basically the best rings that I've experienced in the game for like getting into that late game area for selling purposes, and just the luck increases, and also of course the shake speed does help, but it's mainly focusing on that sell boost. Your entire focus in this place will be you want to craft 4 Heart of the Oceans and 2 moon rings. Now, you want 2 moon rings because you will get some extra dig speed. It will help later on with some of these shovels having a very insanely low dig speed. You at least want to get at least 1, but mostly 2 of them, which will help you advance getting to those ores quicker and quicker. At this point in the game, you should already have that toughness 3 shovel still, because you already dug, of course, at the Fortune River, and you want to go ahead and head to the Sunset Beach, because to get those specific items for the Heart of the Oceans, you need corals, silver clam shells, and golden pearls. Now, in the Sunset Beach, you can get all those items at the same time. You can also, of course, get them at the Fortune River Delta. Now, once you started on getting those rings, and to get at least lucky on getting those 5-star rings, you want to make sure all your common items are high weight too. Now, like I said, favorite always your highest weight items in this game, because the higher the weight, the easier time you will have at crafting 5-star equipment. please do this. I know it will take up inventory space, but it's like the most important part, and that's how I got to this part as well. I'm pretty sure for golden pearls, you are perfectly fine if they're above 1 kilogram. I've tried crafting a few back then. I've sold them already, but I think they're already fine at 1 kilogram. Just make sure you get your coral and your silver clamshells at like at least somewhat of a high weight, and you should be pretty much able to quickly craft those 5-star rings. Now, to get yourself settled for the moon rings, make sure you head to the Fortune River to get the iridium there. And if you still, by the way, still don't have a toughness 4 shovel yet, and go to the Sunset Beach and get your moonstone there. Now, if you do have a toughness 4 shovel at this point in the game, go to the Fortune River Delta, because it will have both of the requirements for the moon ring, and you won't have to move to a spot like every so often. So you can get both iridium and moonstone in the Fortune River Delta. Like I said, make sure to get that 5-star equipment. And then for your necklace, you want to get your opal amulet, because you will get a modifier boost from 0 to 90%, basically on how high the reforge goes. And of course, you get a high luck increase, which is always nice. Now, charm wise in the mid game, you should really focus on getting the crown. The crown has like an insane sell boost at 90% at the highest reforged rating if you can hit this. And this is the charm you will be running for getting that insane amount of gold value from selling your ores. In the late game, you will basically replace your crown by the Royal Federation crown. But if you don't have a pink diamond yet at that point in the game, which is basically a mythic item, you want to keep the crown going for the time being. Unless you get a pink diamond really early on, and do have high weight rose golds and golden pearls, you can go ahead and craft the Royal Federation crown, because it has a highest point of 180% sell boost, which is literally gonna carry you to that end game point where I'm currently at in like, I would say a few hours. Now, of course, not the 100 billion mark in money wise, but you are gonna hit that billion mark in money quite quickly. So like I said, mid game setup, at the end you would want to have 4 Heart of the Oceans, 2 moon rings, an opal amulet as your necklace, and aim for the crown. And if you do have a pink diamond, try and get the Royal Federation crown instead, if you also do have enough money, of course, to craft the charm. And once again, make sure it's a 5-star craft. Now, besides equipment in the middle game, there's also another important thing you can do, because there, of course, also is enchanting your pants in the game. And with the pants, you can enchant these if you get the aurorites. And the aurorites are basically the material that you're gonna need once you hold them out as well, where you can enchant your pen. And there's a little nice tactic that you can use to like increase your sell value of your ores again, which is using an old pen and of course your new pen in combination. Because on your old pen, you would want to get the Midas enchantment, which is a 1% hit, of course. It might be hard, but it will give you a 50% sell value on your ores. And that's really big. Now, I could say that getting greedy, which is a 5% hit on an enchantment, which gives you a 20% sell boost, is also fine. The tactic will be, is once you start selling your ores, make sure you equip the second pen that you're not using, but which has the Midas enchantment, and then sell your items. And like I said, if you do get the crown at this point in the game, with the pen combination of getting the Midas enchantment, you're able to get really like tens of millions of gold or dollars from just selling ores that are maybe even just like epic or rare. So make sure you focus on doing this as well to get an even better money increase, and you'll get to this point pretty quickly. Now, let's move on to the important part, which is the end game. How do you get billions and billions of money? So let's go. So keep in mind that you're still using this pen tactic near the end of the game, where at this point I'm assuming you have the World Shaker pen, which is the pen you can get from the secret door behind the waterfall in the cavern. Or I'm assuming you already got your Dragon Flame pen, because of course you got so much money that you had 400 million laying around and you got your Dragon Flame pen. And this is where the fun is gonna get started, because at this point in the game, equipment wise, you do want to focus on getting 6 Apocalypse Bringer rings. Now, this will require Painites, which is an ore you should be pretty much able to get in the Fortune River and the Fortune River Delta. And this is why when we get the Rapid River event, which is the event which gives you 2 times items in those specific areas, it's gonna come in handy. Because getting Painites at this point in the game, with the equipment that you should still have coming over from the mid game, should really get you settled on getting some of those Painites. Because the rest of these ores should be pretty much be free for you to get. Because Palladium is the legendary, of course, but you should probably have stocked up at least some of those. Rubies, you probably are gonna get easily still in the river, and the ash veins are also really easily able to be found. But you want to make 6 of these. Now you can imagine if you do have 6 of these equipped, the highest you can go to is 120 dig strength, 240 luck, like 30 shake strength, and a 300% cell boost if you do hit the highest values on those reforges. The end goal will be for crafting 6 of these. And not only that, you're also going to be crafting the celestial rings. I know people will be talking about the Phoenix Heart having a higher luck increase, but I really do not care about having more luck and getting a less size boost. I want to get a higher size boost. I want to get higher luck on modifiers, and I want to get a higher capacity so I can have more ores in my pen, I can have bigger ores in my pen, and I can have a high modifier, which gives me even more money on selling items in the game as well. And that's why I really prefer the celestial rings above the Phoenix Heart. Now, there is one thing finally you can do in the game, which is crafting the prismatic star, which requires you to have a prismara, which is basically the hardest ore right now in the game to get as a mythic rarity, which can only be gotten from the azurite oasis, which is in the cavern. As you can see over here, the prismara is pretty much only obtainable from this area. You can replace one apocalypse ring by a prismatic star, and honestly after that point I would save all your prismaras for the next coming update and you'll be perfectly fine. And there's one more thing you're going to be crafting, which is the Phoenix wings, which does give you a little bit less capacity, which does give you a very high luck boost, which is what you're gonna need still to get like either those mythics or those specific legendaries. Even though we skipped over the Phoenix Heart, we are still gonna get the Phoenix wings. And you're gonna be doing a little tactic here where when you're selling items, you're gonna unequip your Phoenix wings, you're gonna equip your Royal Federation crown, and once you get started on digging again, you're gonna unequip your Royal Federation crown, and you're gonna equip your Phoenix wings again, and you're gonna start digging. And where should you dig in the end game? Well, to be honest, there's 2 points in the game where you can start farming. Honestly, what I would really advise you to do if there's nothing going on, go to the magma furnace and just farm here for the entirety of the time. Now, when there's a meteor event or when there is like some totems being spent in some of these areas, honestly, just go there and farm there for the time being when there is nothing being done here at the magma furnace. Because honestly, I've done my entire grinding spree basically a lot of the time at the oasis area inside of the caverns, because I've been farming this prismara like a lot. Even though I've only still gotten 2 in the game, this has been my primary grinding spot for the entirety of the game, and has basically gotten me to like level 30 and a half. And this is where I got most of my money from, because we also did a live stream where I already got like over, I think like 33 million from just there being totems here and just being meteor spammed. So the end goal for you in this game is getting, of course, ignore these last 2 apocalypse bringers. You don't really need these last 2 rings. But getting 6 apocalypse bringers, getting the celestial rings, and getting the Phoenix wings will be your end setup, what you want to focus on in this game, and you will be perfectly fine grinding this amount of money. Once again, remember the tactic: unequipping Phoenix wings, equipping Royal Federation crown when you're selling, and you're gonna reach billions and billions of money, and you're basically gonna be able to buy every single pan that's gonna be coming in the next few updates, and maybe getting even to areas where you need to be a certain level, and just get ahead of the game and be perfectly happy with your life. Also, here's a very unnecessary high weight uranium just for showcasing purposes. So there you go. And that's really it. That's really what I've done in my entirety of the game, and what I would really advise you to do as well in Roblox Prospecting. So if you liked this video, oh, and we got a solar flare starting, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I would like to see you in the next new Roblox Prospecting video or live stream. Have a fantastic grinding journey ahead of you. Good luck.